This is really crazy. The wealthiest and most influential corporation in the world, BlackRock, is covertly purchasing millions of XRP coins. Ladies and gentlemen, this is one of the most bullish indications ever. The price of XRP is expected to rise to $500 or more, according to experts. Quite awesome, isn't it? If you don't see this video, you will regret it. Let's go right to the point without further ado. Disclaimer: there are speculations circulating in the cryptocurrency community that two of the biggest financial institutions in the world, JP Morgan and BlackRock, might be covertly investing in XRP. Although these actions have not been validated by official disclosures, insiders and experts are making connections, and the ramifications might be significant. Black Swan Capitalist's founder, Versin Algeria, started the discussion after offering opinions from prominent members of the XRP community, such as Digital Viewpoints and Digital Asset Purchases. Digital asset investor Robbie Mitchnick and Susan A., the only two people who conducted a formal XRP value in 2018, were mentioned in one featured conversation. It's interesting to note that Mitchnick then joined BlackRock and prominently deleted his LinkedIn Ripple association. Since then, BlackRock has primarily discussed Ethereum and Bitcoin, especially in connection with its ETFs. Is that the whole picture though? Investors in digital assets stated that it is impractical to expect BlackRock, the biggest asset manager globally, to overlook a utility-driven coin such as XRP. Rather, he suggested that BlackRock's quiet might be calculated, putting more fuel to the fire. Bradley, major financial firms frequently minimize or disregard an asset in public while amassing it in private, according to Kim of Digital Perspectives. Kim said that this is part of the strategy since it keeps prices from soaring before accumulation is finished. He underlined that this is just the way Wall Street works and isn't illegal. Additionally, Kami linked today's speculation to previous allocations of XRP. He brought up the fact that Roth3 had already received 5 billion XRP and that investor Greg Kidd had option contracts worth 1% of the entire supply. Why wouldn't other significant banks or funds have obtained comparable allocations if such agreements had previously existed? Could BlackRock or JP Morgan have been among them in secret? Naturally, it's crucial to remember that these assertions are supported by circumstantial evidence. Although there are yet no regulatory filings or blockchain data that clearly link these titans to XRP, the story follows a pattern. Assets are undervalued by institutions until the time is appropriate. If JP Morgan and BlackRock are really hoarding XRP, the repercussions might be disastrous. Because of its practical applications, cross-border payments, regulatory clarity in the US following Ripple's partial triumph over the SEC, and deep liquidity potential, XRP already distinguishes itself from the majority of cryptocurrencies. Demand might be further increased by including BlackRock, the company that oversees more than $10 trillion in assets. An excellent example is BlackRock's involvement in the introduction of Bitcoin ETFs. In addition to validating the asset after years of mistrust, the firm's introduction into the Bitcoin market added liquidity, institutional access, and legitimacy. The price impact may be truly enormous if XRP ever received the same attention. It is unrealistic to assume that BlackRock has no interest in XRP, according to investors in digital assets. This speculation, in my opinion, draws attention to a more profound reality. Institutions seldom take action unless they are well prepared. Retail investors might not learn about BlackRock and JP Morgan's covert positioning until the major players have accumulated sizable positions. And by then, XRP's price may have changed significantly from what it is now. Here's the crucial query though. What can our beloved XRP actually do? Is it the secret treasure that Wall Street is trying to keep you from seeing yet? I promise, you will be shocked by some of the forecasts made by leading crypto specialists. Furthermore, the future price of XRP may be significantly higher than anyone anticipated if BlackRock is indeed positioning itself behind the scenes. As a result, the community is humming with audacious predictions as the euphoria surrounding XRP heats up. Once impossible numbers are being thrown out by analysts and influencers alike. Levi recently tweeted, "We will all get wealthy with XRP." That similar optimistic vibe was repeated by Jack the Ripper, who predicted that XRP would soon reach a new all-time high. Perhaps the most astounding remark was made by XRP Queen, who referenced information indicating that Wells Fargo believes XRP would reach $100 to $500 within the next 2 to 7 months. We are in for one of the most significant moves in cryptocurrency history, if that prediction even comes close. But how accurate are these figures? We must zoom out and examine the larger market in order to comprehend that. Cathie Wood, CEO of ARK Invest, has reiterated her long-term prediction that Bitcoin might hit $1 million in 5 years. She contends that Bitcoin has surpassed gold as a store of value and is now the new institutional entry point to digital assets. Wood thinks we are about to experience a period of accelerated cryptocurrency growth because to the growing institutional acceptance of blockchain technology, stable currencies, and even Ethereum and Solana. Analyst Levi Reed adapted Wood's prediction to XRP directly. He came to the conclusion that XRP at $100 is not only feasible, but also easily attainable if Bitcoin does really reach $1 million. He clarified that Bitcoin won't be the only cryptocurrency to benefit from the influx of institutional cash into the markets. History demonstrates that cryptocurrencies with compelling use cases, such as XRP, typically follow Bitcoin's rallies, frequently with even greater percentage gains. Reed also mentioned how well XRP has performed in the last 8 months. Particularly in December and January, XRP soared over forecasts, demonstrating that it still has significant momentum. He is not alone in arguing that XRP is better positioned than ever to draw institutional flows due to the regulatory certainty that Ripple obtained from its legal struggle with the SEC. Steve Schultz, a seasoned investor, recently contrasted Bitcoin's and XRP's potential for 5-year development. His arithmetic is astounding. Your holding might increase to almost $41,400 or a 730% gain if you purchased $5,000 in Bitcoin today and it rose to $1 million. However, your investment would soar to $155,800, a 31% gain, more than 5 times the return of Bitcoin. If you invested the same $5,000 in XRP at about $3 and it dropped to $100. This type of asymmetric upside is what attracts risk-tolerant investors to XRP. Let's put that in perspective. If Wells Fargo's forecast of $100 to $500 in the near future comes true, we're not just talking about disproportionate profits. We're talking about a total reassessment of what XRP stands for in the financial system. Now selling at about $3, XRP has already produced a 400% annual growth rate, greatly surpassing Bitcoin's 96% gain. A jump to $100 would indicate a 3,471% increase over the current price. In actual terms, if XRP hit $100, an investor owning 10,000 XRP tokens, which are currently worth roughly $28,000, would see their holdings soar to $1 million. Crazy, huh? However, it doesn't end there, because we also need to consider Ripple's relationships in addition to the price discussion. And believe me, things get much more exciting from here. In actuality, Ripple isn't simply creating waves in the cryptocurrency space. The world of international finance is being subtly overtaken by it. Additionally, after you see who they are collaborating with, you'll see why it's possible that XRP is truly unstoppable. Therefore, a recent development in the XRP ecosystem